This weekend, we make a welcome return to Brands Hatch for rounds 13, 14 and 15 of the Duo BRDC Formula 4 Championship. This is a classic old-school circuit, and daunting corners and a fast-flowing nature make it one of the best tracks around. It's a genuine challenge for any driver. The teams were last in action at Snetterton. We had 3 very lively races, although some of the drama was provided by Mother Nature. Race 1 was as good as the weather got all weekend when it was just a little bit windy. Omar Ismail was the man that started at the front. There was chaos on the first lap though, with several drivers involved in incidents and accidents, leaving their races over almost as soon as they'd begun. At the front, Omar Ismail had to hold off increasing pressure from championship leader Will Palmer, but he hung on to take his first win in the series.
Quite surprising really, I never expected to be this high up in my second ever race weekend.
Race 2 was damp. A rain shower before the race left the team split on what to do. Most went for wets for the extra grip, hoping for more rain. This seemed the right move at the start as the track was very slippery. However, it wasn't long before a dry line appeared, allowing those on slick tyres to pounce. Tom Jackson was working his way up through the order, and after a couple of nervous early laps, he was soon at the head of the field. He finally took the lead on the last lap to head for his first win.
I actually can't believe it. When I was coming round, I was like, I was actually first. So this is a great way to rebound and hopefully get my championship bid back up there.
By race 3, conditions had deteriorated significantly, making for a very tough race. In parts, it was more about hanging on than racing, with visibility disappearing in the spray. As the drivers tried to cope with the conditions, there was a certain balletic feel to the action on track. Will Palmer, though, kept a calm head and controlled the race from the front as he headed for his 4th win of the season.
I was just feeling more confident, there was more grip, and the lap times were just falling.
So the championship looks like this, heading to Brands Hatch, with Jordan Albert, an Alton Park winner, down in 6th, Chris Mealin, a double winner, down in 4th. But Will Palmer is the man in charge, and he's getting away. In race 2 at Snetterton, Jack Bartholomew was one of the drivers that gambled on slicks in the damp conditions, and like Tom Jackson, found himself carving his way through the field and to a strong podium finish.
First 4 laps I was driving around thinking, nah, we've made a mistake here. But then halfway through we started picking one lap, and then by the end we were 3 seconds a lap quicker. So it was a case of just make some nice clean moves, don't want to get stuck behind anyone too long, and then I didn't even know I had a podium until the in-lap. I was waiting to see people ahead, and I realised that there weren't, so it was brilliant.
In race 3, young Harry Newey put in a great drive in awful conditions where visibility was virtually non-existent, and he claimed another impressive podium finish.
It's like flying through a cloud. You can just imagine going through a cloud on an airplane, and you look out, you can't even see the end of the wings or anything. And it's kind of like that. It just all the water turns into one big cloud, and you're just going through it, and you just can't see anything.
Race 1 of the weekend here at Brands Hatch coming up, and Will Palmer doesn't just lead the championship, he leads the field to the grid because he is the man on pole position, and this is a 4th pole of the season for Will Palmer, and he's got Harry Newey lining up with him at the front of the grid. The 2 HHC Motorsport teammates set to take the battle to the first corner ahead of Mercuria Cossi's Kieran Haggerty. Race 1 is about to get underway. 14 laps on the Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch. Great start by Will Palmer, but a good getaway as well by Tom Jackson from the 2nd row of the grid. And Jackson squeezes his way up past Haggerty. Rodrigo Fonseca dives down towards paddock for the first time. Doesn't gain ground, but doesn't get mugged either. He did leave the door open on the inside, but he doesn't lose out as a result as the cars head towards Druids on lap 1. Fonseca now does go a little bit wide. Up the inside of him tries to go Jordan Albert in the SWR run car. Sean Walkinshaw Racing as along Cooper Straight for the first time comes the race leader, Will Palmer, edging away already from the rest of them. Heading through Surtees for the first time onto the Grand Prix part of the circuit. Jordan Albert there in the black and green car goes through, chasing after Jack Lang just up the road ahead. Now on board with Rodrigo Fonseca. By his high standards, he started a long way back on the grid. 7th, he's got work to do. Tries to get up alongside Jordan Albert, who closes the door on the run down now towards Hawthorne, and he's in danger of losing a place. Fonseca look under attack, look right. There was a nose cone just creeping up the inside into Westfield. Over the curb, in and out of the corner goes Fonseca, and he loses out now. Sisu and Gebelana is the man that goes through, and the safety car is being deployed already. And the reason is that Jack Bartholomew is off the road, and the other car looks to be that of Amaya Vadyanatham. Charlie Kemp of HHC Motorsport peers over the pit wall, and he will see Will Palmer, one of his fleet of drivers, leading the way. And where is Harry Newey in relation to Will Palmer? They were together on the front of the grid, but as they come up over the timing line at the end of lap 1 of the race, then safety car deployed, and it's because this incident is up at Druids and the two cars need retrieval. Let's try and piece it together. This is Jack Bartholomew's view. Heads into the corner. Vadyanatham gets it a little bit wrong ahead. Bartholomew goes for the inside. They interlock wheels, they touch, and off they head towards the barriers. And down the pit road comes Michael O'Brien, number 94, Rockingham winner. And his Chris Dittman Racing Run car has had a pit stop. It's going to get back into the race, but time lost as the safety car will peel in this time. Lights are out. So at the end of this lap, we will go racing once more. No overtaking permitted while they've been behind the safety car, and so it means Will Palmer heads the pack. It's Kieran Haggerty second, and the green flags fly. We're racing once more here at Brands Hatch. Race 1 of 3 in the BRDC F4 Championship, on board with Rodrigo Fonseca, who's not really stayed as close as he needs to the pack ahead on that restart, so he's still got ground to make up. Harry Newey from the second rank on the grid down in 4th, and he too has got work to do as Jordan Albert there, 23, turns his way around Druids. Back on board with Fonseca, place to be gained here as running out wide into Gebelana on the drop down towards Graham Hill Bend. Fonseca having lost out on that first lap of the race, not quite able to take advantage, and there's a slow car on Cooper Straight that looked like O'Brien having rejoined from the pit stop, and clearly problems still persist as now Chris Mealing runs wide at Surtees, rattles over the curb. A double winner this year is Chris Mealing for Lannan Racing. Has that delayed him? We'll see in a moment as a replay here of what happened at Druids is triggered by Sisu and Gebelana running wide. The South African back on track, and Fonseca closing right up. This is Mealing's view now. After his wide run onto the Grand Prix circuit down of Surtees, he's picked up a bit of dirt on the tyres. Now there, turning his way 4th, is Harry Newey, going on to the pit straight in pursuit of Tom Jackson now for the last place on the podium. But Harry Newey, again frustrating because he qualified well, but not a great start. And now, not only is he running way down the order compared to where he qualified, but the gaps have opened up as well ahead of him. So he's not going to make much progress, I fear, as Mealing has a grandstand view of the next battle, turning his way through paddock. He gets a really good run now, and he tries to make the move up alongside teammate Fonseca. Brakes as late as he dares. He's got past the Mexican, and the next target for him is going to be Gebelana in the blue and white car just up the road. This is Fonseca's view, one place down now. That was bold stuff by Chris Mealing. There was just enough width to make that move, and he did it, and he's made it stick. But Fonseca tries to come back at him as they turn their way now round Surtees onto the Grand Prix part of the circuit. On board with Fonseca. Mealing getting squeezed a bit by Gebelana, but the marksman keeps on going. He's up alongside, he's on the outside line. If Gebelana breaks later, he can hang on to the place, but he can't do it. Mealing goes through, and Gebelana slides out wide. Gap on the inside for Fonseca, who will go back through on the run into Westfield. Great racing this. Back up the inside comes Gebelana. One down and one up again. Gets the switch back, so from having gone wide, he dives up the inside and retakes the place. Fonseca, by his own high standards, is rather struggling here. Fonseca is a double winner this season, but Sisu and Gebelana is going very strongly indeed now. He leads this little battle pack. Fonseca has to go up the inside, and look now, they have been caught there by Akhil Rabindra in the Douglas Motorsport car, the pale blue and white car behind us. We're riding with Fonseca, and look at the way now that he's got to defend. Rabindra tries to make his move as they head over the timing line. In towards paddock they go, and Fonseca, now that he's having to defend, is losing touch with Sisu and Gebelana just up the road as they break now for Druids. There is Rabindra, and as he turns his way through, the Indian driver in turn is coming under increasing pressure himself. So there's a whole queue of cars now, all squabbling for position. There is Akhil Rabindra turning his way onto Cooper Straight once more. at the head of the field, though. Will Palmer doing a very good job indeed, looking as though a 5th win is heading his way. Rodrigo Fonseca, though, has struggled a little bit in this race, and he's not done yet. He's still under attack, and he's still trying to attack as well. And Gebelana up the road. Now, can he make a move as they head down towards Hawthorne? He has a look on the inside, but he's not close enough. He needs to apply the pressure here and try and force a mistake out of him, Gebelana, if he can. They're squabbling for 9th and 10th places at the moment. Not as high up the order as they would like to be, but Will Palmer for HHC leads the way. He's going to steal more of a march in the championship now. Is very, very quick. Coming up through Dingle Dell and Sheen Curve this time around is Fonseca. He's right on the back of Gebelana. The trouble is, he's now got nowhere to go. He couldn't make a move up the inside, so he's in the wheel tracks as downhill goes the 2nd place man, Kieran Haggerty. He's on his last lap of the race, and Kieran Haggerty is in a solid and safe 2nd place. He's well clear, look, of Tom Jackson, who in turn is being able to repel Harry Newey. Will Palmer way out front in the race lead. Downhill comes Rodrigo Fonseca. He's still on the tail of Sisu and Gebelana, and try as he might, he just does not seem to be able to work a way by. They turn their way now round the left-hander at Surtees. Akhil Rabindra next in the queue. Chris Mealian, having got up and past them, he's checked out, he's disappeared up the road. So Gebelana's defence has been good. Trouble is that it's rather impacted on Fonseca's race. He just has not had the car speed here to get up and by and then make any further progress. But Will Palmer is on target to win race 1 of the weekend. It's going to be a 5th win of the championship season as well for him as the HHC Motorsport car comes across the line. Will Palmer wins what is effectively his home circuit. In 2nd place will be Kieran Haggerty. The last place on the podium goes to Tom Jackson, and the battle between Gebelana and Fonseca heads up towards the timing line with Gebelana bagging 9th position. So a lively start to the action at Brands Hatch. And as far as some of those drivers involved in the championship battle concerned, Rodrigo Fonseca really struggling down in 10th place. Harry Newey frustrated only to get home 4th behind Tom Jackson. 2nd for Kieran Haggerty. Excellent job done as Will Palmer takes win number 5.
We've been really strong all day, starting off in practice, and yeah, I knew that if I could get away in the lead, I'd be able to pull away. But then, yeah, after the safety car, I was able to just pull away to the end.
Still 2 more races to come at Brands Hatch, and all the action from race 2 of the weekend is coming up here right after the break. Welcome back to Brands Hatch for the Duo BRDC F4 Championship. We've had one race, won by Will Palmer. Race 2 getting underway shortly in the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. As proved last year here, always a venue that provides plenty of close racing. It's a real challenge for the drivers. You've got the hairpin up at Druids, you've got some slow sections, you've got some fast elements of the circuit as well. And here is a place where the driver and his engineer can make a real difference in how you set up the car for the optimum, as technical director Chris Murphy explains.
One of those tracks that's got a little bit of everything. You know, has some fast corners, slow corners, long straight. Car could well be trimmed out here to take advantage of the higher speed parts. The compromise of that is, of course, is that as one reduces the downforce on the car, that you lose performance in the lower speed corners. And also the circuit's difficult in terms of the layout is such that there are several blind corners here where the driver has to commit to the corner entry, so where he turns the car, before he actually knows where he's going. So he has to predict effectively where his apex is, where his exit point is. You know, it plays into the hands of the experienced guys, and for the guys who are learning the car, learning the track, well, it's quite a big ask actually. You know, a big benefit, for example, is to walk around the track the day before the meeting. Because when you're driving a car, even relatively slowly, a race car, you don't see the little details of how bumpy is a particular curb, you know, on either an apex or an exit, and is it possible to use that curb without disturbing the car.
With everybody having the same chassis in the championship, the real stars are those who can find that final 1,000th of a second to really make a difference.
The ones who have the extra capacity to observe other things around them, other than what they are doing and driving the thing on their own personal limit, they're a bit special. And it's that extra mental capacity to sit, for example, following another driver and maybe to see his car moving around, to see the nuances and body language of his car, yes, that is something really interesting, but only the special drivers can typically do that.
Race 2 is about to get underway here based on the results of race 1 with the top 8 reversed. So Will Palmer is on the 4th row of the grid, and new sticky tyres on the car for Chris Meehlin on pole position as he makes his way up onto the grid. With him at the front, Jordan Albert. Double winner is Meehlin, single race victory to Jordan Albert. 3rd on the grid, it is Omar Ismail, he's had a win this year. And 4th is Jack Lang. The last few cars making their way up onto the grid. Chris Meehlin then, a double winner this year, is the man on pole position. Little bit of creeping. He's away. Jordan Albert away much later. Now, was that a bad start by Albert, or was that a jump by Chris Meehlin? He's got a huge advantage on the run down towards Paddock Hill Bend. So Chris Meehlin is away and gone, and there's drama already because that is Lang getting turned sideways. He's off into the gravel. He was 4th on the grid, didn't make a brilliant getaway, and the race has come to a very early end. So Jack Lang off the road in the gravel bed, going no further as the race leaders dive downhill for the first time, and Chris Meehlin is absolutely away and gone. However, if Jack Lang's car needs retrieval under the safety car, they're all going to bunch back up onto the tail of the leader. It runs 2nd for Jordan Albert at the moment as the cars head onto the Grand Prix loopers there. Kieran Haggerty gets up the inside of Sisu and Gebelana. Meehlin leads the way. Albert is 2nd. 3rd is Omar Ismail. And there, 37, Sisu and Gebelana back round the outside of Kieran Haggerty, and he's taking Will Palmer with him on the run down towards Hawthorne for the first time. No, he's not, because back up the inside goes Haggerty. Stands his ground on the inside, yellow flags wave, safety car boards are displayed. There is the safety car, which hopefully will pick up pace in a moment and carry everybody across the line, but a frustrated Jack Lang it is who walks away. Wasn't a great start, wheel spin, gets bogged down a bit, past him goes Harry Newey. This is the run towards Paddock. Up the inside then also tries to go Tom Jackson. Jackson goes through, and there was discernible contact, possibly from Kieran Haggerty, and it turned Lang around, got him onto 2 wheels briefly, and backwards into the gravel he goes. Everybody now weaving around to try to maintain the warmth in the rubber as we get ready for the restart of the race. Now let's try and piece this incident together again. On board with Will Palmer, Kieran Haggerty to the right, Jack Lang's orange car is ahead, that's the one to keep an eye to. Haggerty goes up the inside, Lang moves across to try and get the line, they meet in the middle, off goes Lang, and Palmer has to slow right down in avoidance, and he loses places as a result. From the outside once more, eyes on the orange car of Jack Lang, who turns his way into Paddock. When Haggerty starts the move, there's a gap. It does close a bit, but the two meet in the middle, and Jack Lang is the real casualty off into the gravel. And let's see it from Kieran Haggerty's point of view. He makes a decent start, gets up the inside. Jack Lang, after the wheel spin, struggles away. So Kieran Haggerty goes for the inside line, turns his way through. Jack Lang does come across on him a little bit, and short of going up the curb, not much Haggerty could do to get out of that. He loses a place to Fonseca, but has he got any car damage? We'll have to find out when we go racing once more. The lights are out on the safety car. It will peel in this time, and we are just about set, ready to go racing once more. Plenty of weaving around going on as the cars now head down towards the right-hand of Clark Curve. And Chris Meehlin it is who will lead them away, and staying with him is Jordan Albert then as we go racing once more. Harry Newey powering his way through in 4th place. Can he get onto the podium by the end here? Let's see as the leaders work their way over the timing line once again. Glorious sunshine shines down on Brands Hatch as the cars turn their way through Paddock Hill Bend. And straight away, Chris Meehlin and Jordan Albert just edging away as they head up towards Druids, with Omar Ismail 3rd, 4th is Harry Newey, 5th is Tom Jackson in the red car. And another replay of the start, and have a look at Chris Meehlin. The question was it good or was it a jump? The officials say it was a jump because he was over the timing line before the lights went out, and so he is getting a penalty for an out of position start. Chris Meehlin leads, and of course any hope of building up a gap ready for a penalty to be taken has disappeared, with the safety car bunching up everybody. So as he heads downhill now, Chris Meehlin's advantage has disappeared, and he's going to have to take this penalty as well. It's going to be a 10-second time penalty for him, so he needs to be 10 seconds plus clear of the opposition. And that, in any one-make category, is not easy, especially given that the number of racing laps has just been eaten into, effectively, by that safety car period. There, you want Kieran Haggerty looking for a way past Sisu and Gebelana. Will Palmer, you're on board with him now, looking for a way past the pair of them. Through Stirlings. From the Grand Prix loop, back onto the Indy circuit in a moment, through the right-hander of Clark Curve. Will Palmer in the red-fronted car, turning its way through third of this gaggle. Kieran Haggerty in the middle of it, right on the back of him, Gebelana now as they work their way up over the timing line once more. On board with Palmer. Ahead, almost side by side. Haggerty on the outside. There's a big gap on the inside, but Palmer not quite close enough to take advantage of that. He does, though, get a good run through Paddock, and now the move is on the way up towards Druids. Again, he has a look at the inside, but Kieran Haggerty does his best to hang on to the place, and he does hang on to it on the run down towards Graham Hill Bend. Haggerty, the Scotsman, part of the Ecurie Ecos young driver programme, is trying to attack the car ahead of Sisu and Gebelana and keep Palmer at bay. You can see the damage on the front also of Kieran Haggerty's car, number 79, the blue and white Ecurie Ecos car, a legacy of lap 1. There's also damage on Sisu and Gebelana's car, 7th, 8th, 9th, these three. And there to the outside ahead goes Haggerty, and Gebelana on the inside with his damaged front as well. They run side by side through the corner, and Gebelana hangs on to the place as Palmer goes up the inside of Haggerty, and that gives him 8th place. Look back now, they go through Westfield. Kieran Haggerty has not done yet though. Hunting down 5 times a winner this year, Will Palmer, as they work their way through Sheen Curve and then now down towards Stirlings. Palmer now makes a move against Sisu and Gebelana. They work their way towards Clark Curve. On the outside line is Palmer. Can he go all the way round the outside? Yes, he can. Brave stuff that. Leaders come over the timing line, and Tom Jackson now is about to attack Harry Newey, who is stuck behind Jackson's teammate Omar Ishmael. 3rd, 4th, 5th, squabbling out 1 now as they head uphill. And then Newey moves across to the inside. Harry Newey, he splits his time between this championship and the ADAC German Formula 4 championship. Heads down towards Graham Hill Bend. He's trying to attack Ishmael, but he's dropped away while he's been busy defending from Tom Jackson. Up front, though, Chris Meelan is the race leader on the road. Add 10 seconds to his time, and he's going to tumble down the order, so he's got to get on with this and try and build the advantage. In real terms, then, it means that Jordan Albert is the race leader here at Brands, and we'll be back after the break. Round 14 of the Duo BRDC F4 Championship from the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Race being led by Chris Meelan, but he has a Damocletian 10-second penalty hanging over him for a jump start. And he's got to try and build more than a 10-second gap to hang on to a race win. Lower down the order, the second of the red cars here is that of Tom Jackson, looking for a way past Harry Newey. Meelan leads, and Jordan Albert is not only up with him, he's right on the leader's tail. There is no chance then now of Chris Meelan building up a gap of over 10 seconds. He's got the opposition queuing up behind him. On board with Tom Jackson, he's 5th, coming out of Graham Hill Bend. Jackson in the second red car, and the man ahead of him is Harry Newey, son of the legendary Formula 1 aerodynamicist Adrian Newey. And Harry determined to get himself onto the podium here, but at the moment he's just struggling a little bit to get onto terms with Omar Ishmael up the road ahead of him. Will Palmer won race 1. This is Tom Jackson's view. Jackson, a Snetterton winner in the mixed conditions middle race, and he turns his way now through Hawthorns. The short straight up towards Westfield, into the right-hander. Nibble the curb on the inside, let it run to the outside, up towards the curb there. So Jordan Albert running second on the road in the black and green and silver car, run by Sean Walkinshaw's team. That, in real terms, is the leading car. And they thread their way now out of Stirlings. There is Tom Jackson. Jackson is closing on Newey, but in turn he's being caught by the pack behind. So there's a real concertina effect now going on. There is Jackson. Rodrigo Fonseca is next in the red and white car. And the Sean Walkinshaw Racing engineers tell Jordan Albert that you're P1. And that's because Meelan has got this 10-second penalty. But Albert can't afford to lag back too much. If he falls back too much, he'll be outside the 10 seconds and lose that win. So he's got to stay up there. Will Palmer, in the meantime, the championship leader, looking for a way past Rodrigo Fonseca. Palmer took his 5th win of the championship earlier on in the weekend, and now he's looking for a way back ahead of the Mexican. Through Graham Hill Bend, on board now, the run along Cooper Straight. To the inside line goes Palmer, squeezed up towards the grass, but he keeps on coming. Fonseca, though, has the line for the corner. Palmer has to back out of it, and he's sideways through Surtees. The battle for 6th and 7th still rages on. Fonseca, another of the drivers in this, with a bit of front damage. But Will Palmer now tries to get a run on the way down towards Hawthorn. He's not close enough though here. Very brave through the right-hander, right up to the edge of the road. Now the inside at Westfield potentially, but just as he wants to go up the inside, he has to lift and turn into the corner. Fonseca then is still defending. The downside is that because Fonseca is defending like this, so he and Palmer are falling away from those ahead. It was a long, long line of cars at the start of the lap, and now you can see the way that in 5th place Tom Jackson has disappeared up the road by having to be more defensive. So Fonseca is going slower, and he's falling off the back of that leading group, and that in turn is compromising Will Palmer. If Palmer can get past, he'll have a huge amount of work to do to get onto the back of the leading quintet. Here he comes now, the outside line over the timing line, down towards Paddock. Is this Will Palmer's opportunity? He's going to have to be really brave to do it on the outside. He gets the cut back and does the inside line on the way up towards Druids. Absolutely wheel to wheel. Palmer on the inside. He's done it. Palmer goes 6th. That was very hard work indeed, but it's paid off in the end. And Will Palmer goes through for 6th position now. Once released from Fonseca, can he get onto the back of that gaggle up the road? Down through the gears, into Surtees, turns left. A little bit wide onto the curb as you look there at Harry Newey. He's sandwiched at the moment between the Chris Dittman racing cars. Omar Ishmael is ahead, and this man, Tom Jackson, is behind him. Newey works his way up through the right at Hawthorn. Through Westfield now, Tom Jackson will be mindful that behind there is a rapidly closing Will Palmer. So he needs to try and get on with this as Newey now forces the issue against Ishmael, forces him out onto the grass. Newey goes through, Ishmael spins once, spins twice, rejoins, he's brought dirt all onto the road. He gets going after a real magic roundabout job, but that will drop him a long way back in the pack now. It also puts Tom Jackson onto the tail of Harry Newey. It gives Will Palmer and others one further place gained. Have another look here. Newey up the inside, runs out wide, and really lets Omar Ishmael make his own arrangements there. There was no way that Harry Newey was going to lift, and if that squeezed Ishmael to the grass, then so be it. On board with Jackson now, comes over the line. Harry Newey proving that when he has to be, he's a pretty uncompromising opponent in this championship. And now Jackson up into 4th. Will be thinking about how he, if at all, can find a way past the Brit. Coming into this weekend, Tom Jackson was the driver who had gained most places from grid position over the course of the season, and off into a huge cloud of dust there at Paddock, by the look of it, has gone. I think it's Sisu Ngebelana. He's the one I can't see up at Druid, so it looks like Ngebelana has gone off into the gravel bed. Up front, Chris Meehlin leads the way. It isn't Ngebelana, but he's also got Akhil Rabindra with him in the gravel as well. The two have disappeared off the road at the very start of what is the last lap of the race. A lap down, of course, on the original distance because of the earlier safety car period. So, Chris Meehlin leads, but you can see the gap is nowhere near 10 seconds. The real question is going to be, where is this going to drop into? As Jordan Albert then, who runs second just ahead of Harry Newey, is about to come through for a second win of the year. Jordan Albert won at Alton Park. He's going to inherit a win at Brands Hatch. They come across the line now. Out goes the checkered flag. Jordan Albert is the winner from Harry Newey and then Tom Jackson, with Will Palmer gaining 4th at 10 seconds. Tips away. Chris Meehlin